Hi, Cameron. Thanks for joining us today. Happy to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm glad I could join today. So,
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we have a really interesting topic to talk about just in general that applies to both people who are starting out in their careers, whether it's in, a Fortune 500 space, in a consultancy, et cetera, or for people who are managing people who are starting off in their career. So I wanted to get you in the room in the hot seat and pick your brain on, what has your experience been? What's your background? And just kind of dig into what it's like to kick off your career with a tech consulting role. So let's start from the top. So I want to learn a little bit about you. Give me some high level. What's your background? Where'd you go to school? And did you know that you wanted to get in the tech industry from the get-go?
um, so yeah, I went to Illinois State University. I got a degree in entrepreneurship and small business management. So just really enjoyed learning about startups, how to operate and run businesses. Just watching Shark Tank, right, and seeing those type of things. It just resonates. Just really just learning how businesses operate is very interesting. And um, you know, prior to that, I worked a lot of more manual labor type work. I'm also in the Air National Guard. I joined that my senior year of high school, and I've been in that since. So I'm at coming up in 11 years. Well, yeah, this January is 11 years now, um, and I started in the aerospace. Well, I am in the aerospace and maintenance sector of the Air National Guard, focusing on maintenance, repair, and overhaul. And I just went from work on the flight line, more on the operational piece into the back shops, and now I'm in quality assurance, kind of taking a different role there. And so a lot of these pieces are kind of what built some of the foundation of understanding how organizations operate and manage. And then with my education, uh, I that brought me into this world I'm in now. I actually didn't think I would be in this. I It started with a conversation that led to, would be interested? Uh, and I said, yeah, I am interested. So uh, yeah, no background in consulting or tech, really. I mean, unless you look at the mechanical part of working on aircraft. But um, it's been an interesting ride up to this point. So that's kind of my history and background up to here. And then now looking at moving forward, with consulting, uh, I had a great conversation. I met Eric, and he kind of introduced me to the life of consulting. I didn't know much about it all. So I took the opportunity to ask questions and not only just ask questions but listen. Right? When you meet people in different industries and have such a wealth of knowledge, it's so important to just take in and listen and understand and adhere to everything that they have to offer. So I think that was the big step at leading into this career path that I'm on now. So
Right. I love that. It's interesting you said it started with a conversation. You didn't fully have this dialed in that this is the path you're going to go, but from the people that you knew, it really like who you know, not what you know, right? That's so true. That sparked a domino effect to put you where you are right now. So I think that's pretty interesting. So tell me, coming from a different background, you must have been, I guess, speaking from personal experience, I imagine that you were a little bit nervous going into this role. So tell me about your mindset at the like day one, first day on the job. What was going through your head? How are you feeling?
oh man, I'm gonna have to tell truth and honesty here, huh? So, I think what ended up happening is you have these conversations, you speak, right, but that's not where it ends. There were multiple conversations, talking with multiple individuals, interviews, and really trying to drill down into what are the skills sets that you have? Can those be developed? Uh, can we mentor and develop this kid or individual through their career as well? Can we put them in a situation and see how he handles it, and or she? But and for my instance, and so the first project, I remember it was interesting because it was the leading events up to it were, we might have a project coming up. We'll be in touch if we think it'll be a good fit for this client. And, I don't know anything about this role, or what really I will be doing 100%. And next thing you know, I'm meeting with another individual from third stage over the weekend for an interview. Then I have to meet the following Monday, uh, getting interviewed again for the director on the project. And then next thing you know, I'm flying out to Indiana for my first client meeting, jumping in with another project manager, and really just kicking it off, hitting the ground running. So my lead into that project was my meeting with that project manager on the ground, and just setting a plan in motion, and really just getting the feelers for what we're going to be doing on this project. And so, I think the key is don't ever, I would say, don't turn down an opportunity. Never say no. Uh, Jump right in. Uh, Take advantage of the knowledge and wealth of the people that are around you and that are supporting you in the projects. Um, Make sure that there's a good cultural fit as well within that. That was a big aspect of why I really liked, just the conversations I had leading up into that first project, was the emphasis on the culture and alignment within the different team members that they were hiring, and that is very important. And I got into my first workshop, and I don't think I've ever typed that much in my entire life. so you learn really quick, and you have to catch on quick. And it's like, I think everybody uses this term in the industry now, but it's the fire hose of knowledge, right? It's just like getting blasted in the face with the fire hose. So you just have to be able to soak that information in and learn right from it. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. That reminds me. So before this, I was working at a satellite television company. So there's only two. So I'm assuming our listeners could probably guess. I was working at Dish. And I remember coming into it, I had a background in sales and marketing, but I really didn't know anything about tech. So I walked in that first day and I was so nervous, and I was like, just ready to take it all in, but I also had no idea what to expect, right? I mean, you're just kind of walking into it blindly and hoping for the best. But I think the one thing that, even from what you're saying, is through all the interviews that you have to get a position, through, you're jumping through hoops to land a job right out of college, right? And obviously the HR team or the person interviewing saw something in you that should give you the confidence that you can do this, right? So when somebody's walking into a job, I mean, I'd say it's so important to, walk in there confident, even though you have no idea what's coming. As long as you walk in coachable and you walk in ready and up for the challenge, oftentimes you see success. And, Eric spoke so highly of you, and I'm excited to have you on here to continue talking about it. But I mean, that just is a testament to it, right? I love it. So tell me about, obviously you talked about where you were at when you first started. What's your mindset today in this role? Like, how long have you been with Third Stage?
2 years here pretty quick in the next week or two.
It goes
We'll see what
fast, right?
date is. It does go by
Yeah.
really fast.
So
Yes.
tell me about your mindset today in comparison to the first day. When you are working with clients today, what do you walk up to the table with? Kind of from a like confidence standpoint, from a knowledge and the skills that you've developed standpoint. Tell me a little bit about your headspace now versus day one.
Okay. Yeah. So I always am going to reemphasize culture, and just the fact that I think from the very beginning, everybody I've worked with has been so awesome. I said the one thing about the people I'm working with is they just seem so cool. Like, I just get along. Everybody just is so easy to get along with and work with, and that makes a whole lot of a difference. Plus, they're bringing in such a diverse background and experience in different areas, right? From technology to even business, which is another thing that I think, the technology aspects are very important, but the business functions are what's running the technology, right? And we're really focused on how the business operates, and that's where I think my skill sets have kind of honed in and developed over the 2 years, is being able to, you know, listen to the client, understand their needs and wants, and also seeing how the other individuals with the wealth of knowledge and experience that they bring, how they interact and work, and really just asking them the questions that I need to help develop myself as a consultant. Taking challenges, taking the initiative on tasks, and really trying to push towards actually taking the lead on things, and so from the very beginning to now, it's more of a I got this. I got the methodology and approach down. I understand the philosophy behind third stage and our and where we are trying to take our clients. We're agnostic, and we're really just there for them. And so that communication, that clarity, and just being honest. I think that's the biggest thing today, is you can't be too honest. Like, put it all out on the table for them. So I definitely just, with the team that I've worked with, I've had such a good group of mentors, and I try to take advantage of that as much as possible. And I think that's the key to my success, as I've developed, that if you have these skill sets, that obviously I'm very glad we're I don't know if the right word's seen, but when I met Eric, and I think I'd mentioned, I realized I feel I have these skill sets and things, but it's having somebody that's willing to mentor and take you through the process to get you to the end game. And I think by taking those chances and them taking a chance on me, I got the opportunity. Um, and I'm very fortunate and lucky for that as well. So,
I love that. Mentorship is such a huge piece to anything you do. I mean, regardless of if it's starting a new job or launching a business, I mean, it makes all the difference learning from somebody who's done it, right? Absolutely. So, I have a kind of a hardball question because I'm curious if you've experienced this as well. So, obviously, consulting, people come to you to get guidance, right? They come to you to help walk them through a digital transformation. Do you ever find that your age or where you're at in your career has played a role in how your clients or coworkers perceive you?
I think that well, it depends on the client, I would say, too, but I don't think the age plays as much of a role in as how you engage and communicate. Um, like I said, you need to be able to listen to your clients and understand their needs. And you have to be able to adapt. And we have that flexibility, being an agnostic corporation, as we are solely focused on their needs and wants. So I don't think that I've seen any bias towards my age. I think it's just you can relate to certain individuals versus others, right? That leads into a lot of the things we learn on change management and within organizations, and hearing the understanding of, well, this is my favorite line. I think I use this at every client I talk with, but I had one individual say, we have uh, fossilization of processes. So it's just very dated and old school, right? And that means you have individuals that have been there for a very long time. And when you're talking with someone that's younger, you need to make sure that you can relate to those individuals and understand them for what they've been working with, right? When you're looking at legacy systems, very manual processes, it's the way we used to do it. Um, they have valuable wealth and knowledge into that. They're the success behind the organization, and you need to be able to listen to that. Don't come in thinking you know everything, because you don't. That's very important. It is good to have younger individuals that can have a little futuristic outlook and understanding on how these things work and operate. We grew up in an era where we were on touchscreen. Well, I didn't have the touchscreens right away. I had the flip phone with like 50 text messages limited, right? But everyone else now following us they got the touchscreens and the iPads, and we're already one step ahead of that generation behind us, and then to follow, they're going to continue to move in even more of the technology aspects. So um, you need to be able to relate to all demographics and not put yourself ahead of everybody.
I agree. And I think that's applicable to any industry you're in. I mean, if you know how to speak to someone who's started the company, back from day one versus even someone who's younger than you who just graduated college, I think communication is the key to having a successful experience in a work environment, regardless of where you're at. Knowing how to talk to people, knowing how to position your own value, position the value of your ideas, all of that plays into it. So then with that, I mean, you and I are around the same age, I think. So we
Are we?
both grew up with the I am assuming so. I'm 29, so
Okay,
I'll just
we
say it.
are 28. I'll be 29 here in May.
Yep, I turned 29 yesterday actually. It's
Happy
my
birthday.
birthday. So, but I grew up with the BlackBerry phase, the Razor, and it's just so interesting because it progressed so quickly. And then now, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, my son he's 2 years old and he's already on the iPad and knows how to work it. So that's just where we're going. But it happens so fast that it almost brings a balance to the current workforce. Like you have the executives who have been there for years and years, and obviously they know what they're doing too. They're keeping up their skills and staying current, otherwise they wouldn't be in their role. But it brings that different perspective, and age differences almost bring another sense of diversity to the table, so you can discuss new ideas, etc. So I like your perspective there. So tech, obviously, moving at 100 miles per hour. How do you keep your skills current? Like, what resources do you use to stay up to date with industry trends? What? Tell me a little bit about that. How do you stay current?
Well, I take advantage of the third stage resources that we have internally. Individuals, that's people. We also have different things that we use for benchmarking, process and technology that is good as reference, and making sure just to continuously look into those things. And when you're on these different projects as well, you're constantly learning new things within the different software options and how partners work with them and things of that nature. So it's just taking that and doing your own individual research, watching videos, YouTube, um, uh, and just really having that hands-on experience really helps as well. So,
I love it. I love it. Well, let's go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be back here in just a little bit with Cameron Carpenter.
If you are involved in any sort of digital transformation or business change initiative, you will want to download the 2021 Digital Transformation Report. With its comprehensive overview of business and technology trends and best practices, this report is a must-have guide for any transformation project or executive team. Download this free report by visiting Third Stage Consulting at thirdstage-consulting.com. You can also visit our website to learn more about us or download independent reports, videos, and other best practices. Again, visit thirdstage-consulting.com today to learn how to take your transformation to the third stage of success.
Welcome back to Transformation Ground Control. I'm here with Cameron Carpenter. He's a consultant with Third Stage Consulting. And we're just talking about the general direction of somebody starting off in the tech industry, in the Fortune 500 industry, wherever you are finding yourself at the start of your career, or if you have people on your team who are just starting out in their career. Cameron's sharing a lot of great insights about really just the full scope of what that entails. So let's jump back into it, Cameron. I'm curious, you mentioned before we went on break, team and culture being a big piece of your success with Third Stage so far. So tell me about what makes a good culture for a company, and how do team members kind of build that camaraderie and that synergy when they first get started?
right. Well, I'd say it's the pixie dust magic that happens. in the background. But I think it all starts from, the vision and goals of the organization as a whole, and what they're looking for from an individual, the mindset, the way that they're going to work well, with the team, and it's directed at the type of questions they ask when they bring people on, and then, um, you know, culturally, you have to have a team that can collaborate, communicate, work hand in hand, uh, have each other's backs consistently, and making sure that we support each other not only on the work front, but on we all have families. We all that was another piece of this, is that, um, the work life balance was a big thing, in families important, and that was emphasized as well. And so to have an organization who realizes that, and will enable you to have that flexibility, is was big for me. And so there's a lot of things that you have to look at from a cultural perspective, really, to say this is what works for me and doesn't. Um, Kind of a high level
Absolutely.
overview, but
Yeah, absolutely. It does start with the vision. And for me, I've been a part of organizations where the culture from the top down was on point. I was aligned with everything that they were preaching, the pillars that they had, the values, etc. But then when you get down to a managerial level, that's honestly probably even more important too, right? I mean, if you have a manager who's not necessarily advocating for you, or not being flexible and respecting your work life balance, that plays a big role too, in my opinion. So tell me a little bit about what makes a good manager for somebody who's getting off on their career and starting off their career. I mean, that's a very molding time. I mean, when you're starting your career, you are, one, a sponge, right? You're coming in wanting to grow, wanting to learn, and two, it's kind of setting the tone for your career, right? You're just, how you start anything is how you end. So a lot of that plays into the mentorship and managing and leadership, right? So tell me what makes a good manager.
I think, well, in order you have to be able to work well with your manager. So you have to be able to listen, well. You have to be able to communicate well with them, and understand the differences between the different managers that you work. No matter what project you jump on. I think that in the situation that we're in with third stage, is that we've hired a good group of individuals and have promoted within to managing positions that resonate well with that culture, and that aspect of, let's groom individuals, let's share the knowledge, and let's all work towards our end goal of helping our clients to achieve success in each of these projects that we're on, and helping to advise on. So I haven't had any situation where I've had a manager who has tried to hold me back. I Everybody has been so great and willing uh, to listen to me when I ask them my million and millions of questions. They're not getting too annoyed, and willing to share that wealth and knowledge to help me grow as myself as an individual. And so I think that's where I benefit from. And not only that, it's every time you're engaging and working on something, whether it's a project or whatever, and you have this structure and a manager above you, is that you openly communicate on those things that they should know about, because if they don't know about it, they can't help you there. Um, and so we just have a good method of collaboration and team structure here that is very beneficial.
Absolutely. I mean, when your employees are happy, they're productive, right? And I mean,
It's just,
that's just as simple as you can put it.
well, when you know that you can, it's a good point. I didn't mean to cut you off, but like, when you could step outside of the realm of working a project and being able to tackle these tasks and advising for clients, is that you can go get a drink with one of your members, and even if they're manager or director, it's that we're all valued equally amongst each other, and we have that relationship that we know each other from outside of the work realm as well.
right. Just curious, did you ever play any team sports?
Well, like in high school.
Yeah. I played in high school.
Yeah, I was an athlete back in high school. I mean, so that was a while ago. I guess militarily, I also was um, physically, or I graduated as the Warhawk or something for top four PT or something out of the whole
Whoa,
graduating class. But yeah, I mean,
sounds
uh,
intense.
it it works,
The reason I asked, so I played volleyball in high school too, but the reason why they do all these team activities and try to get the team to, go have dinner or do things outside off the court is because building those relationships off the court translate directly to how you perform on the court. And I think it's absolutely correlated with what you see in the workplace. I mean, if you have a good relationship with your coworker or with your executive, even, I mean, it's easier to talk to them and have that more real basic conversation than just trying to kind of not put on a front, but, you know, filter yourself in a sense.
right?
You know what I mean?
Well, and that's where, as you're looking at for an organization to work for, what's that flexibility you want to have? Do you want to have that relationship? Do you want to be heard? There's not a situation where I've been where I haven't been able to say, I can speak my mind and I can be honest and work within the individuals to come up with solutions to help, future growth and opportunity within myself and or the organization. So they give me that voice. That's part of that culture and aspect of the team that we work with here at Third Stage is just they listen.
That's right.
So
Listening, communication. I'm seeing a common theme in this conversation.
we all
It's
need a little more.
important for So, let's see. I'm looking at my notes here from what we've been talking about. I'm curious up to this point. So, it's been a couple years. You've worked with a handful of different clients from different walks of life, different companies. I'm curious whether it be client facing, internally facing, what's the biggest challenge that you've faced up to this point? And what did you learn from it? Like, how did you push through it? And how has it helped you grow?
Right. I think the biggest challenge was at the start of my career more well it always happens with all new types of engagement that you put yourself in, right? But the beginning it was trying to be able to pull together all the pieces and look at it from an end-to-end perspective, right? And in understanding how we're going to use that to help our clients. And as we've moved forward, you know you start to get the um, from the interactions and engagement with everybody from who you work with, the clients, you start to get those skill sets that you need to pull those together. But then you start to realize that, wow, I just learned this new thing, and I got to figure out what this is. And so you're back to the drawing board trying to, but that's where as you progress in your career, you start to build your tool set and your black bag of tricks. I don't want to call them tricks, but it's essentially what you need to help you help them, the client. And then obviously being able to tap your internal resources as much as
Right.
possible.
Right. It kind of goes back to the walking in day one, like lost puppy mode, where you don't know how you're gonna do something, but you know you're gonna do it.
Right.
Right. And you
And
figure it
it's
out along the way.
right. And it's not that you don't have the knowledge or understanding of how to. It's just there's certain scenarios that play out where it might be a messaging thing. It might be just trying to really drill into the needs and wants of who you're working with. And so you just, like I said, listen, understand, tap your internal resources, and openly communicate with the clients and those you
Mhm.
work with. So
It's the truth. It's the truth. Smart man. So I'll leave everybody with one last question. So give your best advice to someone who is starting off in their career, whether it's in the tech industry or another. What would you tell them?
I would say bring your game face. Uh, definitely find a mentor, somebody that can help to guide you. Don't hesitate to ask questions. Um, don't turn down opportunities. Jump in and learn it. Uh, there's there's a lot of benefit to help with the growth and opportunity within organizations if you will take the initiative and and find an organization that will help you to grow, but be the driver in making that happen. it resonates well throughout the organization.
Fantastic. So, wise man here, everybody. Well, Cameron, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you sharing your insight, your experience, lots of golden nuggets in here that I think a lot of people can take, whether they're starting off on their career or managing somebody who's starting off. So, again, thank you so much, and we look forward to having you back on the show another day.
Awesome. No, thanks for having me, and I hope this was helpful to some out there. If not, I'm glad that you at least got to talk to me for a little bit.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thanks so much.